and welcome to this week's video blog post. This week I want to spend some time actually talking about stress. In my workshops that I do on social styles, Tracom social styles, which I have written about and done videos about in the past, and I'll add a link to some of those in the text of this post for you to refer back to if you want. In my work with social styles, I talk about how we react to stress, what the tendency is to reacting to stress. And there's something I think that's important to recognize about stress is that it's not necessarily all bad. In fact, stress is a tension, isn't it? A tension that causes us to take some sort of action. Now, in the 4 basic styles that I've talked about in the past, Tracom says that there are 4 ways in which we relate to stress. One is we get autocratic, is we tend to take over. You know, under stress, we'll just say, okay, I'm just going to go do it. Another way we deal with stress is we avoid. We just ignore it's happening. We just look the other way, right? We just keep going. The third way that we tend to handle stress is we acquiesce. And maybe you do this yourself. You know people that just say, hey, you know, whatever you want to do, that's fine with me. When confronted with a choice, they'll just say, hey, whatever you'd like to do, whatever you think is the best way to deal with that, feel free to do it. For example, what restaurant do you want to go to? Would you like to go to XYZ restaurant? Sure, if that sounds good to me. That's one way that they handle stress. The 4th way is to attack. And the best way I've heard this described is I was doing a workshop once where somebody was not quite sure what style they fit into, what behavior model they fit into. And so I said to them, so when you're under stress, you know, what do you tend to do? And the person says, I tend to get pissy. And I love that example of dealing with stress and going into attack mode. And it's basically saying something comes out of your mouth without thinking, right? You may have done this. You're in a situation and you just kind of kick back at the person verbally. And that's the attack mode. So the 4 ways of handling stress are we get autocratic, we tend to avoid, we acquiesce, or we attack. And we'll do all of those, but we have depending on our style, we have one way that we actually start with. For example, as an expressive, as an expressive, I'll go into attack mode. That's what I do initially, right? When I'm really under a lot of stress, like hair pulling out, end of my rope, then I'll avoid. That's my pattern. And again, if you want to learn more about that, I'll give you a link in the text for this. But, you know, how we handle stress is important. And I came across a great article that was sent to me by John Parrott on ways that we can handle stress and the ways we can deal with stress. And again, I'm going to provide the link for you here. I would suggest you take a look at it because it talks about, he deals with it in terms of, you know, yes, there are good stresses as well as bad stresses. And how we deal with that is important, right? How we deal with stress. And thinking about how stress can be used even as a motivator, how we turn stress into a motivator. It's really a mindset. It's really a mindset about how we handle it. And I know when I do my workshops, I talk to people about, you know, recognizing what your own way of dealing with stress is. As you know, those of you that follow me know that a lot of my work is based on self-awareness, how we deal with self-awareness, becoming aware. And I think that that's really a really important piece, isn't it? It's really about how we deal with handling stress. And so I suggest you take a look at that blog post, read it, see what you think. And again, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and send me a message and I'd be happy to reply to you. Anyway, that's it for me for this week. John Whitehead, thank you for reaching out to me, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.